The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
And you're going to love it.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope you guys had a good week. You know I said that I'm not going to freak out about the weeks going by fast, but man, they really do. And can you believe it's April already? That is pretty insane. All right. Anyway, let's do a few things today. First of all, a huge shout out to my man, Shane Wetmore. Shane and I went to Miami of Ohio together, but honestly, we definitely knew each other there, and we absolutely knew a lot of the same people and maybe ran in the same, overall big circles. But anyway, Shane lives out in Southern Cal as well. And, we've gone back and forth on many direct messages on Instagram because he is, you know what? Shane's getting some socks. I'll tell you that. Shane is rivaling the Keener and maybe Brad Hershey. The Hirschman's up there too, but Amy Kennedy as well. Michelle Trimmer. Let me throw out the names. This is all like Miami of Ohio stuff right now. Folks that I know have been loyal listeners. But I will tell you, Shane might have everybody beat because bro was bringing up things I've said on the podcast that I didn't even remember saying on the podcast. So anyway, we had such a great time yesterday. And let me tell you this, there is nothing wrong with two grown heterosexual men splitting a ceviche, okay? There is nothing wrong with that, everybody. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're out at a happy hour with another dude and you guys want to split a ceviche, the key word being split, or maybe the key word is ceviche. I don't know. I think the two of them together, though, we were both confident enough in our masculinity to do exactly that. Split a ceviche and have a couple beers. But anyway, we had a great time. I did want to talk about something that, he really helped me get more comfortable with. And, I guess it's in terms of, opening up on more personal things and opening up on more things, even outside of my big three. Like right now, honestly, my big three, when people ask me, well, what's the deep shallow dive all about? I basically say, hey, I try to break down these three topics. 1, geopolitics. 2, health and wellness. And 3, AI and artificial intelligence. And I try to do the three of them from a common sense perspective. I try to make sure there's a nuanced take in it. And more than anything, I'm trying to, whether it's geopolitics or health and wellness or AI, I'm trying to give you things that you can act on and explain it in a way that you can act on it. I guess the health and wellness in AI would be the acting on. And it was awesome. Shane pulled out his phone and he showed me a folder on his iPhone that had the ChatGPT app, it had the Claude from Anthropic app, and it had Perplexity in there. I told him to add Gemini to complete the four app suite. But it really was so cool that he's getting what I'm trying to communicate off of this podcast. And he made me realize that he's like, dude, I love when you open up a little, and I love when you talk about personal things and all that. And I said to him, I said, honestly, I felt weird doing that because I feel like, and this was definitely the case, gosh, probably for the first 200 episodes. And by the way, today is episode number 301. Wednesday's episode with the Dowd brothers. If you didn't get a chance to listen, they're two Palestinian American brothers from Ohio. Super, super genuine and authentic guys. And actually, I think that was really cool that those guys landed as my 300th episode, because I think 300 is a little bit of a milestone. But today is 301, and honestly, it's just until recently that I'm starting to feel more comfortable talking more personal stuff. And Shane really helped me realize that's okay. And more importantly, he's like, dude, I love hearing that stuff. I love hearing kind of what's going on with you. You don't have to always feel like you have to, you know, make sure I understand what's going on in geopolitics every time. And he's like, I love that. I love that now I have a real understanding of what's going on in this world from your perspective. And obviously, like, there's things I agree with, there's things I don't agree with, or there's things that cause me to research them further. But in addition to that, and in addition to the health and wellness, life hacks that you help me maybe do, and in addition to the AI stuff, like I shared, I mean, that was really rewarding for me to see a folder on his iPhone with those apps, and he absolutely is leveraging them and using them and enjoying them, and it's making a positive impact for him, and efficiency wise especially. That was really cool. And so, like, it was also, like I said, very good for me to hear that he likes hearing the other stuff. Like, I don't have to always feel the pressure of making sure I'm delivering a piece of, I guess, global geopolitical content. So, with that being said, as I drove home and really last night, honestly, like, I thought a lot about really the changes that, I don't know, I personally have definitely experienced over the years, and, like, kind of the formative, or I don't want to say formative, like maybe, like turning 30, I think I definitely felt like a change in my mentality about things. I think turning, gosh, maybe it's on the decade, 30, 40, definitely 50, man. Holy shit, definitely 50. Yeah, definitely 50. God damn. I've been very reflective post 50, I'll tell you that. Obviously many good things to that, but also, it has caused me to really, like, think back over the past 20 and 30 years. And again, I don't want to go as far as to say having regrets, although definitely are things I have regrets on. There absolutely are. And I want to be very transparent and genuine and authentic enough to admit that. And I think I'm going to work up to a full episode where, maybe I'll really talk about that, like super raw talk about that. I'm honestly not ready to do that just yet, but again, like, hanging with Shane last night definitely pushed me in that direction. So that's a good thing. So thank you for that, Shane. What I was going to say though was that, like last night, one of the things I was thinking about was just, you kind of outgrow, and man, outgrow is such a bad word, and I don't mean it like that, but you really, I'm going to use it, outgrow some of your friends, and then maybe some of your friends outgrow you for sure. And maybe even a better way to think about it is, you really do change, your interests change, and the things that, maybe you're attracted to in other people. I'm not talking physically, I'm talking more like emotionally and in many ways intellectually. That definitely changes. And especially over the past 4 years, starting with COVID, I was going to say COVID, starting with 2020, I was going to say 2020, and then I was about to say COVID. But starting with COVID in 2020, all of the changes in life that have happened then. And again, I've talked about this before, and so I'll talk about it again. Going back to 2016, I mean, I really do think 2016 was a defining moment in America for sure, and potentially the world. And it goes back to an unexpected victory from Trump. And for those of you that have read Deep Shallow Dive Into You, and again, that's another thing. Like, I don't really talk about my book very much because I don't want you to think I'm trying to sell you my book. I'm really not. Like I've sold about 1,000 copies to date, which shit, man. When I first wanted to write this thing, I was like, there's no way I'm going to sell anything. Like, yeah, I might sell 10 copies, but like, I mean, 1,000's not New York Times bestseller, but it is better than a sharp stick in the eye. I'll tell you that. So I've sold, 1,000 or so books. And for those of you that have read it, you'll hopefully remember this. And for those of you that haven't, it really starts out by talking about what took place in 2020, and it dials it back even to 2016 to an unexpected victory for Trump. Now, we've talked about this recently, and I'll just mention it because honestly, I'm going to mention it a lot more. 2016 Trump is a different guy than 2025 Trump. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to go into that more today, but I do want to continue to reinforce that because I am telling you 2016 Trump is not 2025 Trump. They are two different people. Actually, 2025 Trump is not even November 2024 Trump who I voted for. Those are two different people. Those are two different people. So anyway, I digress. But my point is that what I really thought about last night a lot was, you just change and you gravitate toward different people at different stages of your life. And so like right now for me, I think back to certain people I was really good friends with, whether that's, college or, for me, it would be like maybe some of the guys I ran around with in LA when we first kind of all moved to LA and kind of were wrapped up in the having fun, Holly weird scene and all that. Or even, I mean, gosh, even like, I don't know, pre-COVID people. I really do have a hard time enjoying conversations and company with people that just have their head in the sand. And what I mean by that is like, I do have a few very close friends that I've known for decades, if not longer, who just have no idea what's going on in the world. And because I'm so interested in that right now, I'm so interested in understanding Gaza, Palestine, Israel. I'm so interested in understanding Russia, Ukraine. I'm so interested in understanding things like the military industrial complex and all that. And again, more than anything, I'm interested in what's going on a day-to-day basis outside of my own immediate life. I gravitate to people that kind of share my same curiosity and kind of share my same desire to, let's say, find our truth. I really do. And I find that like I'm having conversations now, whether it's on the phone or text, with people from various aspects of my life that I'm like, I can't believe I'm talking to this person so much. And it's hilarious and I love it. And then I think like, oh my God, so and so that I've known since freshman year in college, I haven't talked to them in 4 years. That's pretty insane. And what I realized, partially coming out of last night and partially just in general, is, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. And quite frankly, that is not a good or bad thing for you or a good or bad thing against or for that friend or that friend network even. And things change. And, it really also speaks to what I talked about a few times over the course of these 300 episodes. And that is that little internet thing where it says, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I really like, I'm resonating with that concept more and more every day. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I think even for me over the past couple of years, like there have been a few people that have come into my life for definitely a reason. Like there was a specific reason they came into my life. That reason was fulfilled and they're out of my life. And again, it's not bad. It's not like we cut each other out, but but it like naturally goes away, you know? And honestly, I mean, I can think of a few people right now that maybe came into my life for a reason and a season, you know? That was a little bit of an extended period, and maybe they were there to help me kind of, you know, do something specifically or move in a specific direction. And so the concept of somebody coming into your life for a season is really predicated on an extended period of time where there is a little bit of a deeper meaning and a deeper purpose for that person in your life. And then again, that one, you know, it sort of plays its role and it kind of moves on, and it I don't want to say like extinguishes itself, but it naturally probably comes to an end. And hopefully it is a natural end versus, you know, something bad that's happened that causes you not to talk to that person anymore. Now, I've definitely had a couple of those too, but we're not going to talk about that today. All right. And then the lifetime one, I mean, that's the legit one, man. That's the legit one. People that are coming into your life for a lifetime. And I will say what I realized yesterday is that the people that come into your life for not a reason, not a season, but a lifetime, that could start today. You know, that could seriously start today. I will say I previously thought about that as people from my past that obviously are in my life for a lifetime. But what I realized is I might meet somebody tonight or tomorrow that at this stage in my life, I totally agree with, or not agree with, I get along with because we have shared interests and maybe we have shared perspectives, and those shared perspectives definitely can be differing perspectives. Actually, man, something that fuels me more than anything is when I have healthy discussions with people that might not agree with me, but we can talk about things in a super respectful way and learn from each other, and then either agree, disagree, or agree to disagree. I mean, those are amazing. And then after the conversation, it's like, all right, dude, have a great weekend. Yeah, tell your wife I said hi. I'll catch up with you later, or whatever. And I am now realizing that the concept of somebody coming into your life for a lifetime doesn't have to necessarily be somebody that you've already had equity and experience with from your past. Maybe you meet somebody this weekend and all of a sudden that person's going to be in your life for the next 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, or my goal 50 years. I really am trying to live to 100 at least. Actually, did I tell you guys our grandfather on our mom's side, which makes sense because our mom is such a beast, but our grandfather on our mom's side lived to 108. Bro was 108. That's insane. That is insane. So anyway, all right, man, that really, this really ended up being a more heartfelt episode versus me feeling the pressure to educate you guys on what took place geopolitically Wednesday and Thursday. I hope that was good. Hope you liked it. But speaking of geopolitical stuff, I can't end with not talking a little bit about it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do next week, and I was going to do it today, but you know what? I'll keep this light because I know the interview with the Dowd brothers was an hour plus, so I think people are still getting through that. I'm going to keep this under 20 minutes today. I'll tell you something that happened last week, which threw me for a little bit of a curve, and that is, so Benjamin Netanyahu was out visiting Trump again, which is ridiculous. And I downloaded the entire interview. To be honest, I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be so annoying to listen to this. And it was kind of annoying to listen to it. But there's something I noticed, and I'm going to leave you with a cliffhanger and make you come back. And hopefully on Monday, I might even take the entire 50-minute interview and narrate over it the way I did when Trump met with Zelensky, and I'll watch it. And so I'll give you the body language responses and all that. If I don't do the whole 50 minutes, the part that I do want to talk to you guys about, I will do that for that, so I can basically express their body language. All right, I'm not gonna leave you with a total cliffhanger. What I noticed was a little bit wild, and it was Trump took some digs at Netanyahu. He took some digs, and that was surprising because, as you guys know, I really think kind of what Jeremy J. Slay USA talked about in his interview. I think that assassination attempt last year was a way to put Trump in his place. And the different guy from Trump 2025 versus not only Trump 2016, but Trump November 6, 2024, when I voted for him. The Trump 2025 guy is different because I think he is under duress. And so I was surprised at these digs. And I'm going to try and string them out so we listen to them all together next week, probably on Monday's episode, and see what you guys think about that. Secondly, in terms of a couple people that I'm really disappointed and surprised in, and that is Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I'm going to play some things, and those two have been a huge disappointment to me, as has this entire administration, to be honest with you. And I've said that before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to bring receipts. I'm going to help you understand why I feel that way. And again, I'm not at the point where what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not at the point where I regret my vote. But like I said, if and when I get to that point, I will absolutely tell it. You guys will be the first people that hear it. Or maybe Instagram will be first, you'll be second. But listen, you'll be in the top 2. That's a silver medal. So, all right, that's it, everybody. That is it. I'm going to leave today here. Have a great weekend. Get some steps in. Oh, you know what? One thing I will say is I do have a fun little chat going with Jeff Brunka and Todd Keene, and we talk about a variety of things. But one thing we talked about the other day was the Keene dog said, Dr. Ray, are strawberries and raspberries a great choice for fruit or no? If not, what is better than those two? And I wrote him back, and I thought I'd share this because I really do feel this, and I think this will benefit you. I said, they're the best, as well as blueberries. Eat as much as you like, and you can even use... Oh, actually, I'm not going to read that next part. That's funny. They know what I'm talking about. I am not reading that on air. I said, I eat a lot of all three. I eat blueberries the most, but then I also eat strawberries and raspberries a bunch. The other fruits I consume on a regular basis are apples and pears. So basically, those are like my big 5. Strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, apples, and pears. I said, I will also peel tangerines and oranges, but I can't say I eat those as much. But again, I didn't tell them this, but if anybody is still a juicer out there and you're juicing your fruits and vegetables, something like an orange, eat the entire thing. Don't just drink the juice. Don't just drink orange juice. And by the way, if you are buying store-bought orange juice, Tropicana or whatever, that stuff is awful. That stuff is terrible. Turn it around and look at the nutrition facts. You're going to realize how incredibly high in sugar those are. And they have stripped away the fiber that helps you slow down the processing of the fructose sugar in that. So when you're drinking a glass of Tropicana, it's basically has no fiber, and it absolutely is loaded up with sugar. So I would tell you, do not buy store-bought orange juice. Now, if you want to squeeze oranges and drink, natural orange juice, I'm talking like cut an orange in half and juice it and squeeze it. Again, that's going to be pretty damn high in sugar, but at least there's no preservatives in that. And if I was you, I would also try to eat some of the fibrous pulp of that orange in order to help slow down the release of insulin in your body because of that spike from the sugar from even the natural oranges. But store-bought orange juice, cut that out of your life. Seriously, absolutely cut that out of your life. And gosh, I know it's hard to probably cut it out of your kid's life, but I'm telling you, cut it out of your kid's life. That stuff is not providing nutritional value the way they market it to be, which is really saying you're getting all this vitamin C. You're getting some vitamin C, but you're getting way more sugar. So anyway, okay. So in summary of that text thread, I said, so the fruits I eat a lot, berries, all three, apples and pears. And like I said, I'll also peel tangerines and oranges. And then I said, fruits I do not eat due to high sugar, grapes, watermelon, melon, cantaloupe, and bananas. Now, with that being said, every once in a while is fine, but I'm not eating those things on the reg. And on the reg means on the regular. That is from my man, Kenny Powers, from the show on HBO, Eastbound and Down. Man, I'll have to pull some clips because that dude was a legend. Kenny Powers and his sidekick, Stevie. Stevie was amazing too. Those are two great characters. But anyway, so again, in summary, the 5 fruits I really eat a lot and I would really recommend you guys to eat: the berry family, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, apples, and pears. What I would recommend you not eat a ton of is the fruits that are very high in sugar: grapes, watermelon, melon, cantaloupe, and then bananas. I know bananas is a controversial one because, they've been made out to be so healthy and so good for us. But again, they're really high in sugar. Now, you are getting potassium from that. So maybe if you love bananas, I don't know, maybe eat a half a banana instead of a full banana. So, all right, there you go. There's a health tip. There's a little health tip for you. Have a great weekend. And by the way, you know what? I might as well say this because this conversation, actually, honestly, the conversation with Jeff and Todd also has motivated me to write my second book. And that process is starting. The process of writing the next book is starting. And the working title, this is not going to be the final title. This is actually going to be the tagline. So I am thinking and needing a good title. So if anybody wants to give thought to it, feel free to give thought to it. But remember, the first book is called Deep Shallow Dive Into You, and it's about developing an authentic relationship with yourself. This book is going to be about deep shallow dive into your health. And so it's all going to be health driven. It's all going to be about incorporating the right things and, quite frankly, things that I talk about here in a manner that can be added to your everyday health. So I need a good title, something, a deep, shallow dive into your health. So think about it along the lines of like that book, Good Energy, which I'm not going to use that, obviously. But as an example, Good Energy, a deep, shallow dive into your health. Originally, I was going to go with deep, shallow dive into and then insert the topic and make that the entire line. But now I think it's a little better to actually have a specific title, and then as the tagline, it can be a deep, shallow dive into your health. So anyway, there you go, people. That's kind of a major announcement, but I am working on that and I'm going to try to crank that out soon. I'm going to really put that on the front burner. All right, that's it, everybody. Call a spade a spade. Have a great weekend. Get out there, get steps in, get some sun if the weather's nice in your area. Eat right, spend quality time with quality people in your life, and we will see you guys. I am going to try and get an episode out on Monday. All right.
That was a great way to end it.
This episode was brought to you by the new book, Deep Shallow Dive Into You, available now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in hardcover and paperback. Don't forget to sign up for our new mailing list on our website at deepshallowdive.com.